One.
I don't like this. Is that when
You can do mirror display if that helps.
Yeah, because I want to do the.
Yeah, you can do mirrored.
Just do this with that down here.
Wait, you want to do
These are my talking.
right. Everyone. All right, welcome to Devshop. Hope you're having an awesome Thursday. We have additional beverages out in the lobby. Just FYI, the beers and the other drinks are out there. So if you need anything, feel free to go out there. Our first speaker today is Judd. So with over 20 years of experience, Judd has helped build some of the fastest growing consumer marketplaces on the web. A veteran of multiple startups since the early .com days, he's been a founder, CTO, and VP of technology and advisor to numerous startups and currently he is the founder and CTO of OngoWorks. And today he's going to be telling you about reaction commerce and launchdoc.io.
Thanks, guys. That was a long intro, I know. Hi, I'm Aaron from OngoWorks. We're a small team. The whole team is here. Sarah, Ben, and one of our core contributors, Eric. Eric is also the developer of Autoform Collections 2 and Simple Schema. He's done a lot for us, so he's here hanging out with us. Our projects are Reaction Commerce and LaunchDoc. Reaction Commerce was the first project that we started, so I'm going to talk about that first, and then I'll follow up with LaunchDoc, which is a progression of what we built for Reaction. It's an app launching platform. These are completely open source platforms. They're Meteor, and they're available right now on GitHub. Sarah and I started OngoWorks about a year and a half ago. We met working at a startup in Los Angeles where we are creating a fashion marketplace. The idea on the fashion marketplace was to do dynamic merchandising and product content depending on a user's social pattern. We had $1 million in seed funding, and we were trying to build this marketplace on Magento. Magento is sort of a pain. I think it's okay to say that for me, right? Maybe. And we used about 50% of our overall budget just on development. And once we had built that, it was still a really difficult time for all of our staff. Most of our staff were young. This was their first time working in e-commerce, and understanding things like data attributes and categories and collections and all this payment processing, and it was all a little bit difficult, as I think it is for a lot of small businesses. But in addition to that, we had all the trouble of making this thing reactive in real time. Magento is PHP, not event-driven, and we realized that building something from the ground up is what we needed to do. We needed something that was event-driven like e-commerce is, and we decided to start OngoWorks to build that. I don't know if I got that right. So we actually released the alpha release of Reaction. It's at reactioncommerce.com. We've got a few features that we've built, well, a ton to be more precisely, and we have probably, to be honest, a year's worth of work left to do. We have a basic cart functionality. You can check out, you can add products, you can add images, you can do variant management. So if you have a product that has different sizes, different colors, you can do all of that. It's your basic shopping cart at this point, with a little bit more behind the scenes. What we're really trying to accomplish there is that the product grid and the products that you see are all live and dynamic in response to users' behaviors, and that's where we're going next. We had to build the first level of functionality that any e-commerce product needs, and when we get to the dynamic, then we'll release a beta. So that's the next part. So I'm gonna talk a little bit. I'm just actually going to work through the slides, and then I'm going to actually do demos. So in the order of things, once we built the alpha, we decided we needed a way for all developers to be able to customize our core code, release their own core code with their modifications easily in the same ecosystem as the rest of our shops. So we don't want you to have to go to AWS or something else to release the shop. We just want you to customize the code and press play, and it works in our ecosystem. So we built a product we're now calling LaunchDock, which was to use Docker virtual app containers and build off of a Docker file or a GitHub URL a new version of our app and launch that within our hosting. That is, then we sort of said, well, LaunchDock can be a little bit more than that. It doesn't have to be just for our app. It can be for any Meteor app. It can be for any Node.js app. It can actually, it's Docker, so it can be any app out there. We built, and then we said, well, there's actually a little bit more that we could do with this. We could actually make this a community-driven system. So if you add a host to our LaunchDock system, that host can be available to other developers to launch apps on. So you have multiple hosts, you're sharing multiple containers. Let's say your host goes down, then I will instantiate those containers from your host on another host within our ecosystem. You add a host to our system, we'll give you, container credits, and you basically good karma points, and then can add more containers of your own. One of the things is that you might have a host. This way you can add 2 hosts to our service and get back, however many hosts we have in the system. You could spread your app containers across, multiple continents or multiple hosts. So load balanced self-healing is the idea here. I personally think, because we built this around Meteor, one of my favorite features is that we actually wrapped all of the Docker methods with Meteor. So you have Meteor DDP methods available. Any Meteor app that you have right now, you can call these DDP methods to our LaunchDock, and you can instantiate containers from a simple call. So if you have an app and you want to release 4 more versions of your app when somebody hits a button, you can do that. There's cool things there. You can the benefits from the shareable, scalable infrastructure, and just the I don't know. Think of this: bring your own distributed app clusters. I was trying to figure out a cool description here. No, we're not done yet. Sorry. Okay. So this is our launch site for Reaction Commerce, and to demonstrate the whole process, hopefully this works. This is one Meteor app calling the DDP call to another Meteor app, where it is instantiated out on another cluster, and I have a live running with its own database, whole 9 yards. This developer, that launches this platform, those credentials I gave are they're your database username, they're your database password, they're everything you need to go and manipulate and do whatever you want. What that actually did was it launched a container simultaneously. Don't mind the name. We've changed from Rocker Docker to Launch Dock. Obvious reasons, I think. So we launched this instance. I can see it from there. I can get information on it. I can kill that app. I can do whatever I want, and I will show you more in a bit. So within Reaction Commerce, this is just a sample shop that we built to show. We have simple things like drag and drop merchandising, which is not terribly easy to do in systems like Magento. Pretty much because drag and drop is cool still. We did drag and drop everywhere we possibly could do drag and drop, well, that's not working, but it's supposed to. Like everywhere we could put. Double click to edit is also super cool. So we made sure we had lots of double click to edit. Underlying, of course, we're using Mongo, so we sort of ditched the whole traditional products, parent products, child products, and all of that, and said, let's just build these as objects that we keep throughout the life cycle. So we just clone the object whenever we go to checkout, and we have a full history of that object. But we also said, let's extend that a little bit, and just instead of that whole child-parent relationship you get, let's just clone child objects. So anytime I want to add a new with no images, actually I didn't pay attention and I don't have good images, so I'm not going to do that. I want to add one of these to my cart. That's all simple and reactive as well. And there you go. That's Reaction Commerce. I'm going to go back and demo LaunchDock. This is the live version right now. You guys can use your Meteor developer account, or you can use the secret code of LaunchDock if you want to test. I already have an account, so the test version of LaunchDock only has one host running right now. You guys are free to run things on there. When you first come in here as a new user, you would see a introduction screen, and it just asks you to go ahead and add a host. Adding a host, you put in a private IP, a public IP, and you can add it to the pool. I already have one in here, so I'm not going to do that. but to launch a new app container, I look up the app name as it lives in the Docker hub, and it finds it. It also finds that I've put in previously needed URLs for this, or environment variables for this, and those can be anything you want. And so, you know, anytime you add a container in here that you've set up, somebody else goes to use that same app container, they're going to get a bunch of preset things, just making it like a template easy to enter. That just launched that. We have a Apache instance running right now, which doesn't do sticky sessions. So we're going to be doing a load balanced self-discovery kind of network in our next release. But right now, this just sets one container on one box, and you saw that running. That's it. I think Q&A, yeah? Yeah.
All right, questions?
I'm going to kill my test box.
The UI looks awesome. I was wondering what functionality you have to write yourselves and what you were able to find out here.
Actually, you know, we've used a fair, which one? For, what have we used from Atmosphere is the question, and how much have we written ourselves?
Yeah, exactly.
We've written a lot ourselves. We've been working on this for 9 months, so a lot of the projects in Atmosphere probably weren't even really that stable at that point. We have used Autoform Collections 2 in Simple Schema for Eric. We've used Iron Router, maybe a few others, but not a lot really. In LaunchDoc, we had to write pretty much all of this from scratch, except for, you know, Autoform and Iron Router and that stuff, because there's no Meteor, there's no Docker, I mean, there's no Docker wrappers or any of that kind of stuff. So that's all from scratch. Yeah.
Other questions? All right. Thank you.
Cool.
All right. Next up, we will take a quick 2 or 3 minute break.
Also, we need to manually
Next up, our next featured talk, Meteor for Mobile. Slava Kim and Matt Arbesfeld both grew up competing internationally in engineering Olympiads. As many of you know, Slava coached the Kazakhstan national team and later at Collections authored the native Windows 8 client while also contributing to the Cocoa client and backend infrastructure. Matt Arbesfeld is an undergrad at MIT who spends his time researching computer vision and creating mobile apps. During his Google internship, Matt optimized Chrome rendering performance and improved memory-locked page rendering by a factor of 8 when he identified a fault in the caching system. Tonight, they will be showing you Meteor for Mobile. Let's hear for Slava and Matt.
Thanks, everyone. So I'm Matt, this is Slava, and Sashka will join us shortly. And we've been working over the past month or so really hard to bring mobile support to Meteor. So currently, if you want to make a native app, there are a lot of steps to the process. And I might have to know a lot of different technologies, Objective-C, Java. Some people are even learning this thing called Swift. So not only do I need to know all these technologies, but I might have to build my app on all these different platforms. So if I want an iOS app, I'll have to build an Objective-C version. If I want an Android app, I'll also have to build a Java version. I'll have to maintain these separately. So ideally, we use JavaScript everywhere. And what does that give us? That gives us one language that we can have on all platforms. We can share code, share functionality between different devices. We have one set of APIs to interface with native functionality and HTML5. And finally, it gives us hot code push. So just as if you go to a website, you get the most up-to-date version of the website, ideally, you'd have an app that when you open the app, you get the most up-to-date version of the app. Through the current App Store process, you might have to manually download that app, and that kit has a lot of complex things to go with that. But people expect really good performance from their native apps, and they don't expect kind of the same connectivity needs of a web app. So how do we reconcile these two things? And the answer is Cordova. And what Cordova lets you run HTML, JavaScript, and CSS on the phone without using a browser. And not only that, you can write isomorphic JavaScript to access native functionality on all devices, Android, iOS, and web. So for example, I could write navigator.camera.getPicture, and I'll have my iOS camera, I'll have my Android camera, and I'll also have a web camera. So what does Meteor bring to the picture? So Meteor takes Cordova and simplifies it and gives you all the functionality at a much easier, at an easier interface. So we have build tool support. So you have Java, you have your simulator all built into Meteor. You also have Cordova plugins in your Meteor packages. So you can build packages that have Cordova dependencies, and when you add the packages, you now have the Cordova functionality. Finally, you also have hot code push. So when you make an update to your Meteor app, your apps are also updated. And Slava is going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so hot code push, that's a big feature of Meteor that you might be familiar with. Shortly, when you open your web app and you push a new version, all your clients can refresh the page automatically without them doing anything, and they all get the latest version. Apparently, it's not that easy to do in mobile devices because you need to install your app on your phone, and then if users don't update it through the App Store or Play Store, there's no way to get a new version, and they might just get stuck there. So a really good thing about mobile apps, every time you open it, you get a new page, but there's a cost. You spend more time downloading your content. And as you know, on mobile networks, the connection might be flaky. So the solution that we propose, we bundle all your code, all your HTML, JS, JavaScript, and CSS with your application code. So it's always hosted on the device. So it's really fast to open it. But how do we update it? So we built the mobile version of hot code push. Essentially what happens, you can see on this diagram, we have a phone, it has some empty local storage, it has the app bundle, and on the right side you have browser. And this is server version 1. And after that, you update your version, you update your server, and it has version 2. What happens is the browser notices it and reloads. On the mobile device, what happens? It downloads the new code to the local storage and also reloads itself. So it will open all the new code immediately, and you don't even need to care about pushing updates to App Store. So that's hot code push for mobile devices. And Sashko is going to show you a quick demo of the mobile app he's built.
All right. Yeah, so after I saw all this cool stuff, I wanted to build a demo app. And I think the coolest thing is that you can use Meteor packages that include Cordova plugins to have a package with the same interface on Android, iOS, and web. So one package in particular that we've built is called the photo package. And so on iOS, you can see what it does is you click the button and you take a photo. So here, let me take a photo of Matt. Great. And then I just click Use Photo, and I've posted a photo to my Meteor app. And then additionally, we've built some extra JavaScript code so that on desktop, the same exact thing happens. You get a pop-up, you use your camera to take a picture, and you put it back in. And from the app's point of view, all it is calling just one function that does the same thing on all of the platforms. So on this app in particular, you can take photos. It uses the native geolocation API to place the photos on a particular location on the map. And you can click around and see what photos people near you have posted. And you can use this map obviously from mobile and from desktop, and it's super easy. Now they're going to give you a slightly simpler demo of how to build an app with Cordova.
All right. So using Meteor for mobile is really easy. Actually, it is as easy as using Meteor for your web apps, and we're going to show that. So here, Matt is going to increase the font of the terminal. And he will show you how easy it is. OK. So
that's the hard part, is the terminal.
Yeah, terminal. I mean, I'm blind myself, so I don't see. So you can see that this is Meteor version Cordova-Preview 3. This is the first public release that we're putting out today that contains Cordova support. And it also uses the newest packaging system. So now you can see that it is the simplest Meteor app that you get when you just create a new project, if you're less. It says one JavaScript, one CSS, one HTML. And we have one additional package that we built called Camera that just implements camera support, basically. And now we can just run it. And in the browser window, if you go into localhost 3000, we'll see the simplest app. Yeah. So now we can cancel this, close this, and run it saying Meteor run iOS. And let's see what happens. Oh, no. You need to add the platform.
I need to add the platform.
OK, so that's simple. It's 2 commands. You need to add the iOS platform, because we don't know what you want to build. Maybe you want to build for Windows Phone. Who knows? So you say Meteor on iOS. And what this will do is this will install all the Cordova plugins that we already predefined for you. Things like logs or like debugging support, which is kind of important. And it will spawn the server. And hopefully, it will run an emulator with our newest app. Yay.
And you have logs.
And you have a lot of logs. As you can see, your app actually loaded. Thank you. So now let's change the title, just to prove the point that we still have hot code push and rapid iteration. Let's open HTML file and say, welcome to Cordova Meteor. Save it, and it works as you expect. Cool. Awesome. So now Matt will implement the camera package support. So he will add an image tag in the body of the template. And image tag will use image helper, or picture helper, to get the actual data. And it will come just from the session variable. After we've done that, we'll use our camera package that we showed before. And anytime you'll just click on this button, it will not print anything to the console. It will take a picture. And if we get picture, if there are no errors, then we'll just set our session variable to that. So very simple, a couple of lines of code with a predefined package. And you'll see that how easy it is. OK, if we go to our browser, we should already see the updated version. Like if I click on this button, it should prompt me.
We should add the package first.
Oh, we didn't add the package. I forgot. Thank you. So he will just say Meteor add camera, because it's a local package. And now we should see that. OK, hello. Take a picture of yourself again. You're popular
A lot of
today.
pictures of me, yeah. It's on
And
Facebook.
that's online. But that's web app, and we already seen web app. Now we'll connect to the mobile app. And we already installed this application on our device, so we'll save you some time. And if we open it, we have the same interface. We have welcome to Cordova Meteor. We click on the button, and we can take pictures. And it also takes your location. Yeah. That's it. Now we have mobile app.
All right, let's connect back. And the final announcement is that you can try out this stuff. It's in alpha level right now, but you're welcome to play around with it by doing Meteor update -- relief Cordova preview. And we have some getting started docs on the hackpad. So yeah, we're really excited to see what you guys will build, and let us know how it works for you guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And we can take questions.
Questions? Roshan.
So this is amazing. My mind is blown. One question is there a way that we can run certain code only on mobile devices or only within the Cordova environment, and vice versa for web apps?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was, is there a way to run device-specific code? So if I want certain code on my website but not on my phone, or vice versa, on my phone and on my website. So there are two ways of doing this. In your application, you have a meteor.isCordova helper. And then at the package level, you can say, I want this file for all my clients, or I want this file for my browser clients, or I want this file for my Cordova clients. So we can maybe open the camera package real quick and see in your package.js, you have this API.add files, and we have a photo browser and a photo Cordova. So that's a feature that was really important to us, and we spent time doing that.
Two questions. First, is there a folder-like thing, so you just like client server Cordova?
The question was, is there a special folder for, like, as we have client folder, that everything you put into client folder will be shipped only to the client? Do we have anything similar to Cordova? And the answer is no, we don't have anything like this right now. It's not actually that hard to implement. We just didn't feel like creating a new folder called Cordova is a good idea. And hopefully, like in the future releases, we'll build a beta support where we will actually let you specify what is the folder you want to be shipped to the client, what is the folder you want to be shipped to Cordova. So the answer is no, not yet.
Okay, and then the second question is the demo app that you guys showed at the beginning, is that on GitHub?
The demo app's not on GitHub. You can access it on the web right now at solowmo.meteor.com for social local mobile. I'll put it up on GitHub soon so you guys can play around with it. We're not quite ready to like release the camera package and stuff for like maybe another week or so. But I'll try to put that up as soon as possible.
I have a question from Twitter. Is support planned for offline data?
Is support planned for offline data? We're certainly thinking about more mobile-specific features. Offline data is one of them. Another one would be build a faster like data transport, I don't know, optimized DDP for mobile. So far, we don't have any specific plans about that. We are rolling out the packaging and build tool level support for this stuff, and we'll see how it goes.
So it's cool that you guys have the camera support. And I see that you have the Cordova depends and there's camera there. Am I able to add other Cordova packages there to be used now?
Yeah, absolutely. So you have, as you can see, Cordova.depends. I'll zoom in a little bit. And that works the same way if people are familiar with npm.depends, and that will include this camera package. You also can add Cordova plugins at the app level by saying Meteor add Cordova : and then the plugin name. So you'll be able to it's treated much the same way as npm.
Dan.
Can you talk a bit about support for different text sizes that fit better on mobile? So will I have to code my app with mobile size in mind separately, or is there some reflow applied?
So I think you could code your app for Cordova the same way you would code it for mobile web. You could use something like Bootstrap that does that for you in some sense, or use CSS media queries to, depending on the device width, change the font size.
Okay, so same as looking for
Mobile browser.
yeah.
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 Roshan?
So similar to my question earlier, the thing you answered was awesome, the difference between like the client browser and client Cordova. Is there a difference that you guys can add between client desktop browser and client mobile browser?
So that's the kind of questions where, sorry, the question is, so we have the distinction between the client, like a web browser versus Cordova. Can we have the same distinction between a web browser and a web mobile browser, as in like Safari on your iOS phone? And the answer is not yet. We built the system in a generic enough way that in the future we could have that, and we could also have, say, like client.browser.ie8, and you could include your Internet Explorer 8 code specifically there. And this is all where things are headed.
And to add to that a little bit, I don't know if you've read a lot about like browser strings and stuff, but all the browsers are in the business of faking each other's browser strings as much as possible. So actually detecting which browser the request is coming from is like non-trivial because they're specifically trying to not let you do that. So it might be easier to just like use the size of the window or something like that instead of specifically targeting a browser.
Yeah, and I will also add to that. This is not like sniffing the user agent and like figure out in the runtime what to show. This is like actually what gets shipped to the client. So if you don't add this file to your Cordova build, it will never get shipped. Your bundle size will be smaller, essentially. So there's a big difference there. But for browsers specific features, people usually have a runtime check against user agent or something like this.
You definitely demonstrated that you can take a picture.
Yeah.
Does your camera package allow you to take video?
The question is, does our package?
Or is that a limitation of Cordova?
The question is, can we record video with our camera package?
So I built that camera package as a demonstration of like how it's possible to hook into native functionality through Cordova. There's a wide variety of Cordova plugins available on the internet that hook into many different native device functions. So Cordova plugins usually bundle native code that exposes things to JavaScript. So anything you can find a plugin for Cordova, you can do that using a Meteor package, which includes video.
And to build on top of that, advanced users, the way Cordova is structured is advanced users can potentially build any native functionality they want into their app. So anything you can do with a phone, you can do with Cordova. Cordova is an interface between the JavaScript and the native code. And you could potentially do anything you want, including video or, I don't know, what else you'd do with a app. I'm just a JavaScript developer. All right, all the way in the back. Yeah.
I was just wondering about the deployment process. Will there be a Meteor push to App Store?
So the question is, will there be the deployment process? Will there be a Meteor push to App Store and just like, will we handle all the like Apple stuff for you? And we like looked into it a little bit, and people have made some scripts for like filling out metadata on the like Apple Store website, but that's, you know, if you're ready to publish your app, those kind of steps you're probably willing to go through. Eventually, we could maybe automate them, but that's not really on our roadmap at the time being. Yeah. Yeah.
Phil.
Yeah.
Wait, Tim.
So the App Store used to have some kind of policy that forbade you from downloading perhaps executable code. I'm just wondering if you've had research that recently and seen if there's a
I can answer that.
up-to-date instruction around.
So the question is, Apple has special policies that doesn't allow you to download new code in runtime and like run arbitrary code, whatever you want. And that is true. There are limitations. A big difference here is usually apps, those get banned, are just like a web view pointing at the website. There's a big difference. Even if you don't have internet, it will still have the code to run. It will still like run the original code. if you don't push any new versions, it will still run the original code. So when you're submitting to App Store, I think you don't even download any code in the runtime. This is the feature for quick fixes, quick, like, small functionality that you just don't want to wait for it while Apple reviewers are looking into it. For example, if you want to add a very big feature like geolocation, you just cannot do that because it requires a native component compiled into your bundle. Like, such big functionality cannot be added in the runtime anyway. So I think it will be fine if you use it wisely.
Yeah, I want to point out a lot of apps, like current apps, do have hot code push with JavaScript. And in the past, Apple's banned them. I think it's still a little unclear, but they seem more willing to accept apps that have that, as long as you don't dramatically change the functionality of the application.
Yep.
So I'm wondering how much native code you wrote here as opposed to talking Cordova itself, because you showed the iOS version here. Is the Android version a whole bunch of extra work, or is that ready to go as well?
So the question is, how much native code have we written for this, and what's the Android version like? So we really wanted to show the Android version, but we couldn't find the best presentation mechanism for it, actually. Like, if we couldn't plug it in. So, but the Android version works much the same way, and Cordova has that, like, platform-specific code, and we didn't actually write any native code. So the hot code push is all written in JavaScript, and we are really relying a lot on Cordova to do that native component for us, and it's worked out well.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Next up, we will be taking about a 5-minute break. Will all the Lightning Talk speakers come back here so we can get you mic'd up? Now would be a good time to find the bathroom, get another drink. We'll be back in 5. Ronaldo. Is Ronaldo here? We need you back here. Alex and Doug, you guys are here? Good. Good. Jeremy Ho? Where is Jeremy? You are back there. All right, cool. And Ronaldo. Where is Ronaldo? Ah, there he is. Hey, Ronaldo, come back here. We need to mic you up. And we need a Yuri. I'm going to go grab Yuri. Whoops. All right. Yep. All right. Hello, everyone, and now we're back. So our first lightning talk tonight is Phil Cockfield from Respondly, and he's going to be telling you about an update on the UI harness.
Hey, good evening, everyone. So I wanted to check in and give you a quick update on where we're at with the UI harness and then make an announcement. So if you recall, the UI harness is a technique for isolating and then documenting UI as we develop it. So here I have a description of the dev shop. Maybe before anything, I'll load a control. In this case, I'll load a thing called a confirm bar and then set its size to, say, 400 by auto. And then boom, we get this control showing up. Now, that's what I showed last time, but here's where we have things starting to get interesting. We can now begin to use the test harness as a way of telling a story. For instance, I can put a subtitle on, check out UIharness.com, and the tool will now begin to be expressive, so we can begin to explain it. This will expand out to full markdown documentation for the controls. What we might also want to do is add, say, a section and say, let's talk about control state. Within that, I might put a Boolean value in to, say, change a property called isEnabled. So simply by doing this, we now have a rapid way to manipulate the control with a very small amount of test code surrounding it, where we get a lot of UI to manipulate it. Another common thing would be if we have a multi-state property, for instance, color. We have a control for the, or rather we have a property for the control. So let's put some radio buttons in. Radio will be confirm color, and let's put red, green, and blue. So now the UI harness interprets that, gets us a bunch of radio buttons, and now we can manipulate that. The UI harness will also remember what was the state of that. So we get the control into a stable test state, and then as we are doing live updates and the page is redrawing, the UI harness holds that in local state and then gets the control back into its main condition. Its current condition. The other thing that we had here was this notion of describing a section. So now we can have these multiple sections, we can collapse them, so we can get a lot of test state up on the side, collapse it down so that we can manage the way that looks and works easily. And that's it. And the announcement we were going to make is that we're hiring. We're deeply committed to design and engineering craftsmanship, and Respondly is now bringing on some more engineers. So if you'd like to join us, we'd love to talk with you. Thank you.
First question, what's the URL of your jobs page?
The URL of the jobs page is coming. If you email us at tim@respondly, we'll get back to you, including with the URL to our jobs page.
Questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Renato, you're up. All right, next up today we have Ronaldo, who is a Devshop regular, telling us about, I guess, the WordPress JSON API.
Hi, I'm Ronaldo. I just made this Atmosphere plugin to interact with WordPress sites using the WordPress JSON API plugin. And these are some websites I made a couple of years ago. And here, this is kind of like the regular PHP site, and it has data. So through WordPress, I set up a publish subscribe setup, and then have a couple of session variables that will walk through pages and then show tags and so forth. So this is another site where I implemented that and Meteor routers. So you have like kind of these like various slugs that you can go to. All right, that's about it. Questions?
So is the idea to, like, what are you integrating? Are you integrating, like, posts from WordPress?
Just all WordPress data, essentially. Or the question was what am I integrating exactly? And I'm integrating, it's just this plugin, this WordPress plugin for WordPress. So you have a WordPress installation, you have this plugin, and then you can query this plugin, and then that data gets pulled into Meteor.
So it's not using DDP specifically, it's like talking to someone else's external REST API?
So the question was, it's not using DDP, it's talking to someone else's REST API. And yet initially when you make the initial call, it pulls in data and then stores it as regular Mongo records. So then as subscribes, will just return like what's already cached. So the question, or the answer is essentially for the first call, it just makes a regular JSON call to the database and then.
So it would allow you to use a WordPress install as a CMS for your Meteor site?
Yeah, the question or the comment was it would allow you to use a WordPress site for Meteor installation, and yeah.
Would it be reactive? Check that.
The question is would it be reactive? And yeah, if you go in and like erase all the data in the database and has to remake that call, it uses an upsert. So for each time anyone logs into the website, it'll make the call, return what's already there. But if there's new stuff, that stuff would change onto the website.
So if someone in the admin, not but if someone using the
WordPress, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
adds a new article, it'll get pushed to.
Well, depending on how the publish subscribe method is implemented, but yeah, it would be very easy for you to just like call the API and then just retrieve whatever's changed. Yes.
How do you deal with all the different WordPress fields, tags, and all that kind of thing? Do you collapse it into one collection?
Oh, the question was like how do we deal with all the different WordPress tags and fields, and it's all in. Right now, it's just designed how this JSON API plugin works, and it has. I let them take care of it, but if you were to do it normally, you would kind of have to interact with the WordPress database directly using MySQL. So there's like, you get a response that essentially includes all of the taxonomies and the way WordPress manufactures it, which isn't really ideal for Meteor or Mongo, but it's what I have for now, and I just wrote this like a couple of days ago. But the intention is to eventually implement direct MySQL access to WordPress to completely negate the need for PHP installed.
Any other questions? All right, thank you. Next up, we have Alex and Doug, who want to, oh, that's on the other side, who won a prize at the Meteor Summer Hackathon. Which prize did you guys win?
Best API integration.
Nice. All right, and they're going to show you Saurus.
The is silent. So Doug and I are interested in assistive automation in general, like particularly the task of automating some of the things going into writing menial essays and annoying emails to your boss. And 3 of those high-level tasks are organization, research, and then diction. And research and diction are 2 tasks that we think have a strong reactive component to them. It's something that should be done as you type, kind of like spell check. Nothing really much has gone on top of spell check in the past decades since it happened, but we wanted to build something using Meteor that could help you come up with synonyms as you typed that best fit your essay. So we developed Saurus, and Doug is going to go through a sample thing that you could write in.
so hi everyone. My name is Doug. I work at a company. Apple and Google are cool companies. We'll see which one it likes more. Oh, I guess it likes iPhones more.
So you can see a couple things going on here. One is synonyms.
Yeah. So we have 3 key features. One is context-aware synonym suggestion. The second is Wikipedia. And the third is topic detection, which is manifested here as just hitting the Flickr API and being like, yo, what's the coolest picture for this topic? So yeah, Alex will walk through a little bit on what context-aware synonym suggestion entails.
So we used a couple different APIs. We used WordNet to look up synonyms, and then we ranked these synonyms based on how well they fit into the context of your whole essay. Let's enter another sample query here. If I say I want to live in a big house, you'll see a couple other APIs in the works, in addition to like WordNet suggesting things like household, which you can go down and select. You can see the Alchemy API integrating with Flickr to change the background and theming your application and user interface towards the idea of a household or a house.
It's also context aware. So for instance, it's aware of the grammatical structure of your sentence. So for instance, George Washington is recognized as one Wikipedia entry, but if you add a period, you get George W. Bush and Washington, D.C. So yeah, we were excited to have our project win Best Integrated with Third-Party APIs at the Meteor Hackathon. We'd like to thank the Meteor community for supporting us, and we'll now take questions if there are any. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Do you use a third-party API to do your HMM, or are the context-aware the source suggestions things built on your own custom implementation?
The question was, are the thesaurus synonym suggestions custom, or do we use a separate HMM? And they are custom. It's kind of a hacky algorithm, but basically we take the gloss, in other words, like a definition and a couple examples of a synonym from WordNet, and then we intersect that set of words with the set of words that you use to create your document. And the size of that intersection we use to rank the synonyms.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, cool. Oh, one there.
Where do you see it extending from here? Because I guess there's a limited amount of JavaScript libraries for things like sentence analysis. Where do you think Meteor was the best choice for this kind of application?
Well, maybe we might have different opinions on this because we haven't talked about this, but all right, the question was, what do you see this evolving into from here? And I think of natural language processing as like, it's not a value that people have in their heads. It's not like secure my computer or help me like produce better documents. It's a way of interacting with computers. And so NLP things like this are better suited as package libraries. So I think that's the best, like an ideal target for this kind of thing.
I think the second part of that question was also like, was Meteor the best choice for this? And for us, it was a really good choice because we were trying to build in, because all of the interactions that we're doing and all of the logic that we're handling has to be so quickly reactive to what the user is typing, and all that reactivity comes baked into Meteor. So for us, we think it was a pretty good choice.
It also made collaboration a lot easier because when we worked on separate topics, people would just publish some session variable, and I would just expect that one to come up when Doug was finished with it.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys.
Cool, thanks. Want to take your laptops? All right. All right, and next up we have Jeremy Ho, and this will come up any moment now. Try the other port. There we go. And Jeremy will be telling you about the tiny Meteor tool, visually extracting colors from code.
Blow that up a bit. All right. Yeah. Hi, my name's Jeremy. I'm a dev design product guy. I've been playing with Meteor for a couple months now, and I had a little idea for a little tool for web designers that I thought would be pretty cool, and I finally got around to implementing it because I told myself I would give a lightning talk on it. So this is how web designers generally look at their colors. It's in a code format, and the problem with that is, blow this up a bit. The way they want to see it is actually something more like this. All right, so all this tool really does, the tagline is visually extract colors from code. It's very simple. All it really does is parse a piece of text and pull out all the code RGB or hex values inside of it and display them in a palette that you can then manage. And this is nice because this is how designers tend to actually look at and see color and work with it. So there's just sort of some interaction things you can do here, play around with it. You can go back to see the original code that it was extracted from. And the nice part about it too is that it supports, as I said, RGB values, but also SAS and less variables, so it can extract and pull out the names of those variables. So this is a helpful little tool for web designers like myself, because when you're working with a file like this, you don't know exactly what all your colors are and how they should look. So you can quickly throw that in here and visualize it in a palette. And one of the things I had on my roadmap was basically to write a plugin for my text editor, Sublime, and just be able to really quick push that to this and convert it. But yeah, that's basically what it's like at the moment. Check it out. It's called Hewley.co. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. Any questions?
Questions?
Do you or anyone else use it now in the daily workflow?
Well, since I finished it less than 30 minutes ago, I'm guessing not. There's nothing like a deadline to make you finish a project. So yeah, I hope it can be useful to somebody in the future. I'm going to be implementing it in my workflow. The reason I built it initially was because it was something I needed. Yeah. Yeah, those definitely aren't right. It's come from a file called test colors that just have a bunch of random junk in it. Other things on the roadmap actually are to be able to pull out where the actual variables that they came from and then be able to insert them back in, so you can extract that file back out. So it'd sort of be like a real-time update of the colors in your file, and also be able to deal with SAS transformation functions like this, like darkening stuff. But that's on the roadmap. It's open source. You can check it out on GitHub. The link should be right there at the bottom of the page. So yeah. Yeah.
Hewley, where are you hosting it?
On Meteor.
Is that custom domain?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. The question was, where am I hosting it? And I'm hosting it on Meteor, and it was great. I just one line pushed it, and I didn't have to worry about deployment at all. Cool. All right. Thank you very much.
Oops. And we're going to take 2 minutes. So now is a good time to go find a beverage or the bathroom. All right. Ready? All right, we're back.
Hello. Testing.
Hello, everyone. Please take a seat. We have one more lightning talk. This is Yuri, and he's going to be telling you about Worldwide Meteor Meetup Day.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay! Hello. Thanks for sticking around. This is going to be awesome. So I recently joined Meteor. This is how excited I was, and this is. Thank you. And so I joined as a community engineer, and if there are any Team Fortress 2 fans, that is one of my favorite roles in a game, and I'm really excited to tell you more about it. But because I'm a cat, this looks more like this. So this is me for during the last 2 months, and hopefully for many more months to come. Let's talk about Meteor community. We are in San Francisco, but there's a lot of people watching us live, and there's actually 116 Meteor groups in the world. That's a huge number. Over the last 2 months, I've been emailing a ton to get in touch with them and to get to know them, and it's just mind-blowing of how widespread Meteor community is. The new groups over the last 2 months are from Cebu, that's in Philippines. We have Chattanooga, Ghana joined, San Diego, Taipei, Tanzania. They're very small right now, but if you're watching from those cities, you now know that you have a meetup group and you can meet people locally and talk to them about your projects. So I think this is really exciting, like being able to talk to people from all over the world in a span of few minutes or few hours or few days is just incredible. A reminder for international viewers, Discover Meteor is, first of all, a really great book to get started with Meteor, but also it's available in a lot of native languages. It's available in Italian, Spanish, Espanol, if you habla Espanol, or I don't see Japanese there. It will be really great to see some people contribute from Japan. And this is an open source project, so Sasha Grave, he made it available for free for international people because $40 in US is reasonable money to pay for a book, but outside of US, in some countries, that's a huge amount of money. So it's really amazing to see open source community come together to help people learn Meteor outside of US. A couple of words about the startups that are using Meteor. Respondly demoed a little bit today. It's an amazing company. It's local. Recently, Harrison from Apple joined it. He's a good friend of ours. And there's a couple of companies, lookback.io and Sandstorm. You should check them out. Check out Sandstorm specifically because it's a private cloud, and one of their team members is Garpley, who is an awesome cat. And then a couple of startups have already, like some people ask, is Meteor ready for production? And there's already 2 startups that were built with Meteor and that has already been sold to Lyft and Box, and that's Rover and Stream. So to me, that's a kind of good answer, I think. And a little story from Toronto. I was just in Toronto recently, and I had a chance to meet with local meteorites. And one of the companies there is doing some amazing work in the Meteor community. The company is OK Grow. They were a Rails shop, but they went off the rails to Meteor, and they host every month. They host awesome local hack nights, and people can come together and work on their Meteor projects. And it's a very small but awesome group, and Carl is captain there, and he's really awesome. And then you can also see on the photo Rafiki on the very left. He is actually from San Francisco, and he used to attend all the dev shops here, but he recently moved to Toronto, so he's now in Toronto. And the reason why people are hosting these events is very simple. It's about learning, and I think there are 2 ways to learn, and it's by doing and by teaching, and you can combine those 2 by organizing or hosting an event or coming to an event. It's everybody's on different levels. Everybody is at their different stages of their lives. Everybody's looking to learn some new things. And I think you can learn a lot by coming to events, but not as a passive user, not as like a viewer, but as an active participant. And if you collaborate, that will make events much better. And very exciting news. So we are going to have something really big scheduled for early October. We're going to have a worldwide Meteor Day. It's a day where all the cities, all the groups can get together, and we're going to launch some educational materials and some other cool things. More information will be coming soon. For now, the URL for information on that will be bigbang.meteor.com. Right now, it's just a redirect to the slide deck. But we're going to be putting up more information there. And we already have 60 cities on board for that day to participate. And if you're watching this and you're not on the list of those cities, I encourage you to get in touch with us and just shoot me an email directly at yuri@meteor.com or ping me at Twitter, and we'll help you get going. Thanks for tuning in and coming in today. Oh, questions?
Questions? All right, I have one. Let's say I'm interested in organizing a meetup in a city that's not already on the list. What's involved?
So it's actually very simple. It might seem like hosting an event is a very hard task, but it's actually very easy because a lot of people are interested in helping host Meteor events and create Meteor events, so you'll always find help. But the simple list is email me, and we'll point you to a very short list of things you should do, and we have detailed instructions, and I'll walk you through that. And we'll also be having Google Hangouts to chat face-to-face, and yeah, it's very easy.
Will you have a slide deck to share with me?
Yes. You can also fork the slide deck if you want. So basically, yes. So for the events, you don't have to be an expert in Meteor. It helps, but if you're not, we will have materials that you will be able to use to host the event, and we'll help you find the venues and stuff like that.
And I'll get a cool new shirt?
Oh, yes. Cool new shirts. Yes, I'm currently not wearing the cool new shirt, but they are on the way, and hopefully they'll make it in time.
Yes. All right, thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, guys. And if you're watching this online, there's a subscribe button somewhere down there to follow up on the videos. There's a lot of amazing videos, so tune in. Thanks.
All right, cool. Thank you. Let's leave that for a moment. And thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the Devshop channel, to the Meteor channel. And for those of you here, if you would do me a favor and take one piece of trash from your table and put it in the appropriate recycling trash or compost as necessary, and take your one chair, the one that you're sitting in, and stack it somewhere against the wall, that would be super helpful. And the RSVPs for next month's Devshop are already open, so go to Meetup and you can start signing up now. All right, yay! And thanks for coming.